pieces. Say you need a friend. No matter the distance, I will always be there. No more inhibitions. I'll show you I care. You've been lost and alone in the city of lights. I know. Getting hot, feeling low, and it's out of your control. You should know that I won't leave you. I'll stay beside you. I'm never letting you go. You've been lost and alone in the city of lights. I know, but I will guide you home. Fight your battles, always by yourself. In the shadows, hear you cry for help. No matter the distance, I will always be there. No more inhibitions. I'll show you I care. You've been lost and alone in the city of lights. I know, I know. Getting hot, feeling low, and it's out of your control. You should know that I won't leave you. I'll stay beside you. I'm never letting you go. You've been lost and alone in the city of lights. I know, but I will guide you home. Letting love pass by, something I've done so many times. Trying to keep my head high while everybody's dancing. 'Cause I know I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one. Since you took hold of my broken heart, just like a miracle. You're the angel, the one I've been waiting for. You're the angel, the one that pulled me out of the dark. Letting go of the past, I can never understand. So many questions, why? Well, everybody's dancing. 'Cause I know I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one. Since you took hold of my broken heart, just like a miracle. You're the angel, the one I've been waiting for, waiting for. You're the angel, the one that pulled myself again. You hit just like a drug. This time I won't let you in. You're playing with fire. No, I didn't I'm the prey. But this time I won't collapse like I did yesterday. You broke my heart once again. I won't buy the dust in return. I can't give it, I can't give it. I won't give in this time. You broke my heart once again. Well, you're bad, but you're bad it for me. I can't give it, I can't give it. I've already run with the wolves. Far from the light of the day. I can't go back to you. I'm stronger than that. Been to the dark side, I don't know. So if you wanna shoot far away, I won't go back to you. I'm stronger, I'm stronger, I'm stronger today. I'm stronger today. Tú tienes la pócima para enloquecerme, pero voy a draw the line. Que yo ya sé que es de ti. I got to stay away, got to stay away. Sé que como un trofeo quieres tenerme, pero I don't need no one. Que yo ya sé que es de ti. I got to stay away, got to stay away. No, 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 baby, no, 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 no setbacks. No, 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 baby, no, 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 this time. You broke my heart once again. I won't buy the dust in return. I can't give it, I can't give it. I won't give in this time. You broke my heart once again. Well, you're bad, but you're bad it for me. I can't give it, I can't give it. I've already run with the wolves. Far from the light of the day. I can't go back to you. I'm stronger than that. Been to the dark side, I don't know. So if you wanna shoot far away, I won't go back to you. I'm stronger, I'm stronger, I'm stronger today. I'm stronger today.
I never thought I'd feel like this.
Thank you, Cody. Oh, so golfing once a week is not often. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying. You can definitely golf way more than that.
Never thought I'd feel like
Like to me, I would consider golfing once a week as a lot. But I guess I'm not a golfer.
Never enough. That's the answer to that question.
That's funny. Morning, Wilder. How's the Great North?
Doing good. It's my second last day up here, so it's
Oh,
getting very
no.
cold. I'll be happy to get back to the city.
Hey, Jay, welcome. Second person from the mountain area joining. We do have a good spread across the United States, at least, and we might have a few people from Europe. They haven't actually doxed, but I have assumed.
At least one.
I mean you, but you don't count.
No, I'm not important enough.
Like, I still don't understand why do we didn't come over and just make the UK like East US. I mean, we beat you.
I mean,
Why do we keep it going?
Just didn't have the Navy, is what it is. I don't know if that's true today.
Lord, we do now.
We do now.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
we
Yeah, I'm
do
living in
know.
the past, guys. I'm not
Okay.
focusing on today.
We come over and free you.
I'd appreciate that. I'd appreciate that. Finally become a republic.
All of you lovely people, if you didn't get the joke, we make fun of Benny all the time for being in the UK and how we beat them in the war.
I think you'll find I make fun of you for being in America.
So I'd like to do some historical revisionism right now. We did not win the Revolutionary War. France won the Revolutionary War, and Britain lost the Revolutionary War.
They
If
get
you read,
more palatable.
if you read about the generals who were fighting on the British side, they did not want to win, and
Yeah, we didn't try.
yeah, we mucked around doing nothing until the French showed up.
That sounds like somebody that thinks monarchy is the best political like mode.
Philosophy kings, you know. It can be.
All right.
My name was
We'll
named
get,
after General Lafayette. Right?
we'll get going. Coop, got a beautiful face going on. Are you in the bunker?
I know I painted the bunkers looking a little better, right?
Looking good. I missed the plants. You need to bring the plants back.
I know. Well, it's a bunker, so it's gonna be hard to keep those alive. I maybe pictures of plants. Should I put pictures of plants next to me?
Something. You need some green, I think.
Okay.
Something. It looks like you're in a like so
The lighting's not right right now. I'm very harsh. Very harsh.
like John Oliver during COVID times, like went into a white box, and it reminds me of that. So it's like, you know, it's just like you in.
No, this
Like
isn't
you're-
good enough.
You need more.
I can't just
background.
do the show like this. I'll just be like, "Hi, everybody. Welcome
Hi.
to this." Like,
Like start out with heavy breathing. Anyway, all right,
Yes.
we'll get going. Thank you all for coming. Shantha, you want to kick it off? I started. I'm sorry, Shantha, you kick it off.
No. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for accommodating the new timing. We have a few due diligence proposals today and going to discuss some new things in the works for the council and for the community towards the end of the call. But I think we're recording, right, Cody? Okay, awesome. Yeah.
And streaming. So
Okay. Live streaming. Okay. Yeah, kick it off.
all right. Well, thank you for all. I can't have the energy that Cody does in his spaces, but thank you so much for coming. I really do appreciate it, as always. And starting off with the mission and a reminder why we're all doing this. We are all doing this because we want to see a blockchain that solves the original Satoshi's vision, a blockchain that is owned and operated by the people that are actually owning, putting in the value to the chain. And the only way that we can actually do that is through decentralization, through putting this in the hands of the people that are actually adding value, you guys and the community. This is why we call this VOI. Like, remember that every single time that you talk about VOI, remember it's called VOI because it means you all. This is your chain. We say this every single week, and I feel like we have to actually remind you guys, some people every week, is that this meeting is actually your meeting. We are here being the catalyst. We are the ones being kind of organizing. But at the end of the day, you have the votes. You have the say. You can change the process. You can change everything. It is up to you to talk to the community. And if you're not happy with something, you can change it. We can help change. We can help organize. But this is why we actually picked a large, diverse group of people, because you all have different opinions. You all come from different backgrounds, and they all matter. Because if we take all of our brains and all of everything and put it together, there's more likely a chance that we'll do the right thing than the wrong thing if we can actually be independent and make our decisions together. And we started off this journey and really didn't know how hard this was going to be. It was really hard, and didn't know how hard that you would work. And I've been extremely impressed and proud of all of like the work that you guys have put in so far. And VOI would not be where it is today without you guys. So just remember, this is your chain. Your decision matters. We're not going through the motions. We are. I was actually talking to Shanti about this the other day. The Void testnet token doesn't actually have any value. You've heard me say it. You have heard many people say this. But what we're doing is if you, any of you done sports, you practiced, right? You know, if you're swimming like Shanti, or if you did, you know, American football or soccer or whatever, you did drills, you went through things, and you acted like it was the real thing. Even though the practice doesn't matter, it really does matter. Because if you didn't practice, if you didn't learn, if you didn't figure out the right drills, we wouldn't do well when it does come to game time. And that's what we're doing now. So this does matter. This matters so much, because if you do not practice well, if you do not go through the motions, if you do not actually figure out what the best way to do things and break things and learn from it, we can't do this the right way. So sometimes it might feel like, oh, we're giving out these tokens that don't have any value. What does it really matter? It truly does matter. And you guys, so many of you are putting out an effort, and it's such amazing that you're doing that. So thank you so much for that. Update since last time we talked. It's only been a week, so not a ton of updates. One of the things that we keep hearing over and over again is talks about the actual process, this proposal process, and how we're spending a lot of time and effort in low token proposals, and how we probably should have different tiers. So Shanti has listened and put together a document and put it out there. Remember, we are not making this decision. We are helping you guys make this decision if we want to change this. And so Shanti put in a lot of hard work and passed it over to you. Now it's back in your guys' hands again. Do you want to change it, or do you want to keep it the same? We will continue to help organize and keep pushing it forward, but that new process is out there, or the suggestion of the new process from what you guys have been talking about. So decide, is this something that you want to do or not? The Discord bots, the tip bots that Jay doesn't understand or doesn't like, is working. It's actually doing awesome things. People are using it. I mean, we're using it. We're making it rain on people. And the really big thing is that this Discord bot that is what we're using in our channel, they have now enabled for all of the Discord channels that they're in. It's over 100 channels now that people can give away Voy, and tip people, and we're gaining new people because they're like, what is this Voy thing now? And they're coming on over. So if you see people come in and say, what is this Voy thing? Please answer. Please direct them the right thing, because they don't know that all of a sudden they have Voy now and they don't know what to do with it. I saw a question the other day. We're like, what do I do with this thing? This is great. So it's working. That's great. So shout out to the Algo League team for putting that out, which I think the proposal has passed and gone through. So that's great. But they launched it beforehand. So I love that. There's so many projects out there that are already working on the thing. And even though the proposal isn't passed, that shouldn't change our opinion if it passes or not. If anything, it should actually increase the chances that they would receive, because there's less risk. But it's great that they're doing the thing. One thing that's some of you actually know, I've started developing again. It was so rusty, working with the Algorand Inc. and also Algorand Foundation to add new features, because I started feeling the pain of building on Algorand, and it made me really, really, really pissed off. So what happens when I get pissed off is I decide not to sleep, and I just code to make things go away. So I've been working on a lot of tools to making development better. I think I made a pretty cool tool, but I hit a roadblock because it was missing Algorand features, and I'm pushing hard and fighting the fight to get those features added. But once those features are added, it'll make building on the AVM infinitely easier than it currently is. So I'm really excited about that. One of the things that came up over the last week that I want to address, one of the proposals, specifically the other Discord bot that was presented last week, the presenter got offended and was upset about it being turned down, and the directness that a lot of people were being. This is live. This is recorded. Yeah, you, Jay. took offense. My stance on this is the nature of things. We're all people. We all have opinions, and we all have thoughts on if it's good or bad, and we should keep those opinions, and we should push those. We should let other people know about the opinions. We shouldn't, of course, try to force people to agree with you, but you should let your opinion known. The only ask that I have is realize there's actually a human on the other side. This is not just somebody has come and they thought this is a really good idea, and then they put it down on paper and they presented this because they thought it was a good idea. It doesn't mean it's a good idea, but they think it's a good idea. And so when we are expressing our opinion, make sure that we realize that there's a human on their side. If you understand there's a human on their side and you would still say these things, say those things. But just know that it might hurt somebody's feelings. And at the end of the day, we don't want to drive people away from Avoy. They might not get the proposal passed, but if they truly believe in the product, they should still keep on building it, and we shouldn't scare those people away. So make sure that you realize that there are humans on the other side, and they can be offended by what you say. Those are all of the updates. I think did I forget any, Shanti, Gov, Benny? Okay. Want to do a couple of shout outs. Number one, shouting out to Shanti for putting together that's a new proposal process. I like it. I like that it's a tiered approach. Make sure that you read it, and if you like it, run with it. Jay, I love your automatic things that pop up. If you pay attention to Jay, like all of a sudden, like things will happen in the background without having to do anything. It's crazy. Anyway, great job, Shanti, and keep up the good work there. Helping this committee keep on going. Second thing I wanted to actually shout out is Prim. Is Prim here? Is he missing this meeting? Hopefully you'll watch this and see my shout out to him. I might take back the shout out because he's not here. But he's actually been spreading the good word on Twitter in his own Prim way, and he's causing a lot of issues. But he's actually talking to people that don't know about Voy, and I think it's good. So shout out to you, Prim, if you do ever actually watch this, and don't slack off and miss it. But shout out to you. The final shout out is actually our buddy Zarmian for launching Smart Poker with Voy. Nice new felt with the Voy logo. We had the first the Voy poker on it. It went well. So we now have two different poker tools. We have the WOMP crew, and now we have Smart Poker. So great job on getting that up and going. And relatively, obviously, it's not the best user experience in the world. Not as good as like the ones that have tens of millions of dollars of everything, but it's super impressive that you built it yourself and you built it from scratch, and it works, and it does a lot of things. And yes, it has bugs, but great job on building it, because I know it's one of your passions, and it works. So great job on that. I can't wait to see where it goes. So those are everything from me. I will pass it back to you, Shanti, and I'm excited to kick this off.
Thanks, Chris. So we're going to get right into it. We are moving to due diligence presentation. So Lobo, if you can please come up and do due Humble.
Give me a sec. I'm looking for the right screen to share. Okay. Does it work? No. It does work. Should be this one. Okay, everybody can see that? Good. So let's start. This is due diligence on the Humble AM proposal by Shaman, who's requesting 200 million testnet tokens. So a quick summary. Problem is that there's no AM DEX on Void that enables swapping ASUS or ARC200 tokens. And the proposed solution is that Humble will come over to Void and will add ARC200 swap features. On top, they will also come over with their yield farming solution, which is permissionless. What makes the proposal qualified? So we have like Andrew Shaman, the head of DeFi at Humble, And we have Nicolas Schellerberger, aka Shelly, who's the software developer, and he was the former lead developer of Zesploo. Okay, the due diligence. So governors liked the detailed proposal of a proven protocol, and that Humble will be completely open source. So not like only the smart contracts, but also like the UI. So it's easy to just start a Humble AM style yourself. And that they also want to come over with their permissionless decentralized farming solution. Some negative stuff. So some governors said that the requested amount of tokens is significantly higher than the AM bounty. Some other governors mentioned that as well, but said in the same sentence, like, okay, due to the inclusion of Arc 200, they would accept this amount. Then we had someone asking, is it ready in time for the token challenge? That there is at the moment no good analytics tab for the APIs. It's rather basic. And somebody criticized like the lack of disclosures of potential conflicts of interest. So let's go through the answers. So first, the question was like, will the contracts be audited? And the answer is no, but intensive testing and another dev will look at this code who didn't write it. On top, again, the contracts will be completely open source. Amount of tokens, to justify that, there needs to be an UI overhaul, have to rewrite the complete the SCs, and this takes a lot of time. It's not a 1 day of work port. And they add permissionless farming. In time question mark, if it's like early November, then no, and December might be possible. So it depends actually when the token challenge is supposed to happen. Regarding the analytics, there will be no significant improvements for now, but they are aware that changes are needed in the future. And lack of disclosures, kind of tough one. So just in general, only Shaman and Shelly have been working the past 1 year on Humble. Chris just acts as an advisor. Reach owns Humble legally, and Chris is the CEO and Jace the CTO of Reach. So just to get this out. So how will this idea be sustainable and profitable? So Humble earns part of the swap fees, and they have an existing runway of at least 12 to 18 months. And to some key benefits and challenges. So benefits like proven protocol, it meets the minimum requirements of the AM bounty, and it adds on top permissionless decentralized farming. Some challenges, Arc 200 support, as it hasn't been implemented yet, and that there is no good analytics tab. So there was also a discussion about like the 200 million, and maybe part of it could be used for farming. Here's a part where we argue why this might not be a good solution for now, because it adds risks. So in the recommendation, I will talk about it a bit again. And Humble success will be defined by 99% uptime and functionality throughout testnet, which is great. And they plan to scale as Voi grows, which is also great. So recommendation. 125 million tokens represents the high end of the MM bounty. If the additional 75 million represents like the compensation for the farming solution, that total request is not unreasonable in our opinion. But those tokens shouldn't be given out as farming rewards until further discussion has taken place to make sure that these incentives don't break testnet in any way. Like if they are incentivizing specific tokens during the testnet token challenge, then they could essentially pick the winners of the token challenge, which would be bad. And the requested token needs to be changed to VIA at the moment, which is like a Voi. So in general, our recommendation is to approve this. It won't be like easy to build on multiple networks with relatively low TVL, but we think that Humble might be really valuable for the Voi ecosystem, as it's supposed as it's, for example, needed like for the token challenge, for example. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Lobo. It was really
Thank
nice.
you, Lobo.
Um,
One of the things I do want to actually just address real quick is that as far as actually timing concern, one of the things that we are releasing, like, so there's stages to the testnet: stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Stage 1 is where we're at right now. It's all about node running and making sure that the actual network is secure. Stage 2 is DeFi. Stage 3 is NFT. How do we progress from stage 1, stage 2 to stage 3 is we've actually put together requirements that each stage needs to be able to progress to stage 2. One of those requirements from going from stage 1 to stage 2 is we have a AMM that's working. So if so as far as like the timing goes, if we don't have a AMM, we won't go to stage 2. So that's the kind of like where we're at right there. So yes, it will be ready by stage 2 unless another AMM comes in and says we can be ready beforehand. And one of the other things too that we're kicking around, and I like the idea a lot, is that how we determine if we go from stage 1 to stage 2 will be up to you guys. It's not going to be up to us. So we have recommendations on what the requirements are, but I want you guys to be able to say, yes, we're ready to go to stage 2. Let's progress, and it will be a vote by you. So that will be, that's how that works. All right.
Okay. Thanks, Chris. Are there any questions or comments from the council? No. Wilder.
When it comes time to revisit the 75 million, I assume that Lobo or part of that team is going to bring it to our attention and sort of champion that until it's been decided on.
The proposal is supposed to stay like 200 million. So it's just, we just wanted to say like 125 million would be for the AN, which is normal. The 75 million could be seen as like the on top part of the 125 million to bring also the farming solution over. So the proposal as it stands is like 200 million for the AMM plus farming solution in one proposal.
Okay, thanks, Lobo. For the sake of time, we're going to move on. Wilder, are you ready to do OpenArc?
Yep, I'm going to share screen now. Okay. So I'm presenting Nicholas and his team, or as we know him, Shelly, for his Open ARC 72 NFT marketplace. This is a proposal or something that is meeting a bounty requirement. So I'll get into it, but the token allocation is for the full amount between 75 and 125. The marketplace itself meets all requirements, but also goes a little bit above and beyond. The language is still loose because we don't know if an ARC72 indexer will be implemented by somebody else going for one of the bounties. But Shelly has a great and comprehensive way to solve that and essentially guarantee that this NFT marketplace will be able to move forward regardless of outside development. So the current problem is there is no NFT marketplace that uses ARC72 Envoy, and this solution effectively gives us that and more. The expected impact is obviously the creation of the NFT marketplace, the facilitation of sales, purchases, listings of NFTs, and increasing the adoption of VOI and ARC72 standards, as this is also pioneering for Elgrand as well. The MVP is going to meet all the base requirements outlined in the bounty, what we're familiar with coming from Elgrand or other NFT marketplaces, though it is what I'll say is bare bones from a UI or the user standpoint. They're not necessarily getting extra features, but what Shelly's developing in the back end is where the extra sort of comes into play here, and I'll talk about that. So the success is the implementation of this MVP. So there'll be a live and hosted NFT marketplace that we can all interact with, as well as the full open sourcing of all the project code. The main concerns brought up by the committee were how is he going to develop this without an ARC72 indexer? That was raised by the Examarket team, and it's a valid concern. It's extra work to do, as well as smart contract standards, as this is the first time it's been done on a scale like this. And the second thing was vague timelines. In the initial proposal, there wasn't necessarily specified dates, as a lot was up in the air. And I'm happy to report we have a great timeline for the development of this. So in general, I recommend this. I think it's a great proposal, but I want to get into the Q&A and where he answered the committee's concerns. So the way that he's going to ensure that it's sustainable and keeps users engaged is by collaboration, not competition. This includes reaching out to existing NFT marketplaces, those who haven't used Voy already or ARC72, and trying to create relationships there to make it advantageous for them to want to work with open ARC72, as they can learn from it. It's open source. Additionally, to make sure it's sustainable, it's going to be a very lean team. So this will be Shelly, a UI developer that has not been selected yet, and keeping it sort of to a minimum to ensure that those tokens will last the entirety of testnet. In the future, he has outlined some exciting things to me, which is decentralized governance that can be tied into bounties and other forms of user engagement on the site, but this is outside the scope of this proposal. The estimated costs are extremely low. Thankfully, he already has a server that he's going to be able to use for this purpose as well, certainly in the testnet stage. And the GitHub costs and other costs are sort of already pooled into his existing developer costs, so he doesn't look at it as additional costs accrued. The one thing he doesn't have a price on right now is how much the IPFS pinning or the storage of the NFTs is going to cost. He'll be transparent about that, but it's not a make or break thing for this proposal to go through, and not something that he will have to request extra tokens for to cover. Just not a cost that he's aware of right now. Otherwise, it's $0 currently. The timeline is what I'm most excited about. I think he put a lot of thought into this, and it clearly outlines how we get from no ARC72, no indexer, all the way to having a marketplace. And when he talks about an NFT indexer, and you can see there 2 to 3 days to make a script, this is a functional, this is a backend indexer. This is not something like NFT Explorer where you'll be going in there and browsing all NFTs and looking for things. This is an indexer just to allow the NFT marketplace to use, and other NFT marketplaces to use if they would like, to be able to start tracking those NFTs with that standard. I encourage you to look at this. He goes through week by week the way that he'll get from where he is now to the marketplace. What excited me is he'll be polling and talking to the community to see what user interface you like of existing NFT marketplaces, and that's the way the user interface will go. It won't be him deciding, it'll be the community deciding what they want the user interface to look like. So according to that timeline, it would be ready by mid to late December, but I think realistically with roadblocks, this is going to come in January is what I hope, and the way I look at it, certainly in time for stage 3. So there was a big concern about, is ARC72 valuable? What's the point of it? I didn't know much about it before I started doing this due diligence, but the big thing that stood out to me was with ARC72 NFTs, you can list an NFT in multiple marketplaces simultaneously. And just from that standpoint, I didn't see a way that that was achievable using ASAs as I understand them. And the way it was also explained to me is you aren't losing anything with going with ARC72. You're only gaining functionality at the cost of increased complexity for the developers. So I see that as they're taking on the extra work and us as a user get to benefit. So I'm optimistic that they will be able to deliver on things such as this, and that excites me and brings new utility to the NFT space, or for the AVM NFT space. I already spoke about the indexer. It's bare bones. It's for the marketplace to work. If an indexer is not made by someone else, the allocation, he got into details with it, as it's not going to be released to him as it's laid out here, right? It's when he meets milestones currently determined by the council or the core team. So he's trying to say here that he has a long-term view with this. It's not just get the MVP rushed out and it's done. He is planning on maintaining it and sort of keeping up with what the community wants for testnet. I hope I didn't, Shelley, overspeak there, but that's how I interpreted it with the 90% for long-term sustainability. As far as the functionality, everything you see in the bounty, everything I talked about before, ARC 200 will be included if VIA is going to be ARC 200. Whatever the most popular ASA at the time will be, that'll be used for the site. The UI UX, as I spoke about, it's going to be chosen by the community through polling. So please interact and send messages of, hey, I like how this NFT marketplace looks, or it doesn't have to be just Elgrand, just he's looking for UI ideas as well as someone to help with the user interface as well. And finally, one question that I think is relevant is, will this be compatible with Elgrand? Is there plans for this to be on Elgrand? And Shelley believes future initiatives would include Elgrand support. And even in the beginning with reaching out to existing marketplaces, some of those will be on Elgrand. So he sees a future where this can act as a bridge and be an advantageous reason for an Elgrand NFT marketplace to want to learn about Voy for this extra functionality ARC 72 brings. So thank you, and I'd love to take some questions.
Thank you, Wilder. Does anyone have any questions?
Lobo raised his hand.
Oh, okay, sorry. Lobo.
Did I raise my hand? Sorry, I just clapped. Sorry.
Oh, I look like you raised your hand. Never mind. I have a few things. I'll let Haruf go first.
Yeah, just really briefly. Did you get a sense that that he has the skill and whatnot to maintain like an NFT marketplace after it's all created and built, or does he think that he will eventually kind of like hand this off to an established marketplace team to kind of integrate into what they're currently doing? Because like you said, I hadn't heard about 72 before. That was one of my big questions, was why is this important to the ecosystem? And it seems like if it's somebody who thinks he's going to to run on parity with the Exas and Rands and others of the world, then that's really cool. I mean, I'd like to kind of hear about like what that kind of long-term plan is, and if it's something that we're kind of building to further integrate so that somebody can run a marketplace with it. I'd also kind of like to know about that.
Excellent question. The way it was presented is, or the way I understand it is, it's not going to be a competitor to those types of marketplaces. They will be what would be considered collaborators, so trying to bridge and create a relationship between them. I think there is an ambition for mainnet that this proposal specifically didn't get into, albeit the talk up here above where he was mentioning ways to drive user engagement, whether it's a bounties to use the site or other form like a governance implemented to determine where incentives go. So I see that being an evolution where it would have some competition with those marketplaces. As far as the ability to it, I didn't actually tell you all, but extremely capable. He has a lot of experience with Zestbloom, and also he has worked on, if you look at a lot of these standards, he's the person putting together some of these standards. So he is extremely technically capable for this, but he's also very clear that when it comes to the UI and UX, that's not a specialty. He's looking for a teammate. He's looking for someone to run with him on this, but that's not going to slow him down from delivering. And he's confident he's going to be able to find that. Maybe I didn't actually get this question answered fully in my mind. So Shelley, if you do want to add on to that, I'd be happy with that.
Hey guys, for the design UX,
just the comparison to like Exa, or if this is more of like an open source project where you're looking to collaborate, competitive versus collaboration.
Okay, yeah, I think it would have its own standalone. Well, it would be a standalone marketplace, that you would see as I guess if you were another competitor, or if you were looking at it from that side, you would see as you would see in competition, but it'd be open to collaboration. Most of the bounty funds will be used to try to I guess incentivize maybe a team to maintain it and develop future initiatives. See, I think one of the reasons in the DD, I did answer something. I did answer the question about marketing. The main reason to collaborate with a lot of the other players would be just because resources are limited and to dig into the resources to implement the marketing is the only way it would work. But for design, we're working on the design. I didn't actually think about doing the survey. I mean, I guess questioning the community about the features, look and feel, and that. But I think I could loop them in once we have something to look at. Maybe share the designs before they actually get finalized. That's all. Sorry.
Thank you.
Maybe just to add to the question, like ARC72 is like pretty new. And I think what is great about this proposal is like, okay, even if Shelly might not find the time to, let's assume he builds everything, has like all the tech ready and stuff, and start the marketplace and goes through testnet, and then maybe mainnet comes and he doesn't have time to do so. Other players could just pick up the code and start the marketplace themselves. So it's not like it would be wasted in any way, in my opinion at least, if like Shelly would, for example, only run it through testnet. So somebody could use the code, maybe like an existing marketplace, like you said, and like integrate ARC72 this way.
Definitely, and I will also say the project's goal is to deliver this MVP open sourced, and definitely, as you mentioned, for the technical ability. And Shelly didn't mention it, but it didn't brag about his abilities. But yes, he has my 100% confidence to be able to develop something with ARC72.
One thing I do want to actually shout out here, and request from the committee and the community, all of you watching this, don't let Nick do this by himself. There's a bunch of you out there that have the skill sets to actually help, and Jay and Boonson, and there's Zarmian and all of you guys out there, Ost. This is a very important piece of the actual Void testnet. And yes, Shelly has raised her hand and said, I'm going to actually be the one running the ball. But if I can push the analogy a little bit further, go out and block for them. Get out, help them. While there, you ran a NFT marketplace. You have a lot of experience. Let's make this a group effort and help as much as we possibly can. Jay, you specifically, I know that's just make sure that you're available for any of Shelly's questions like normal. But I think this would be good.
Thanks, Chris. Okay, so if Jay, and I don't think Prim is here, we have so many DD presentations next week. If we could do the token challenge today would be great. But I think you're the only one here, Jay. Are you able to do this?
I would say we're not going to be doing the token challenge today. We've not properly had a chance to catch up on it.
Okay. I see. Okay, so that will be next week. On the agenda, we have 5 DD presentations. Please let me know if you will not be prepared to present next week. So we have the token challenge, node installer and monitor, Void network stress test proposal, node metrics, and relay nodes. So somehow we'll have to get through all of those. And if for some reason you're not prepared next week, let me know so we can shift you to the subsequent week. But we'd like to get as many done as possible so we don't delay the process.
I recommend, because we have so many, let's do as much as we possibly can in Discord. So if you get the DD done beforehand, post it in Discord and get the comments ahead of time so we can rip through these really quickly.
That's a good idea. Okay, we have a second evaluation that still requires more votes. It's the Block Explorer proposal. So after the call, please do go in and you can find the second eval in the proposal tracker and fill that in. Smart Poker integration has passed for 10 tokens. Yay.
Woo!
So that is the success for the week. Okay, so now we're going to move on to foundation announcements and discuss some of the new things that we're trying to do. One of them being rethinking about our evaluation process and having it be tier-based, which really TD is the one that has been spearheading, and he's not here today. But this is a process that everyone here is going to be following, the community will be following. I haven't seen anyone review it or add comments. So if you can please go in there, go into the document, I'll post it back in the Discord if it's got lost. And just go through it, like add your comments, because this process is going to be what you own and carry forward. That's really all I have to say about that, because Chris already talked about it. Part of that process will be a more detailed token payout process. So I'll let Benny talk about that, but then also kind of the remaining pressing bounties that we have on the table.
All right, cheers, Shanti. Yeah, I won't bore you guys too much because I think it'd be good to have a good amount of time for some open discussion. But I have put together a kind of end-to-end deployment process, if you will, just so there's more transparency on our end on, what tokens are moving where, why they're moving there, but also as part of that, essentially before we can obviously deploy any tokens, we would essentially need a request from you guys. So it's just a kind of end-to-end full process with everything fully documented. It's not set in stone. And again, this is for you guys to own, and we would love to change it if necessary, just to make it better. Right now, it's definitely secure. And it's definitely transparent, but it might be a little bit lengthy. So bear that in mind when
It's
you
way
are
too lengthy, Benny. Way
yeah,
too lengthy.
I mean, that's just the way these bureaucratic processes go.
Yeah, let's trim it down a little bit.
Yeah,
and if people can give us ideas on how to do so, please.
Yeah, so feel free to cut the fat. But I like to start with a block of marble and chisel it down into a work of art. So you guys can help me chisel that down. But I'll share it, off the back of this. I'll actually put it in the meeting agenda anyway, and we'll try and put it out on the email, and I'll put it on the Discord as well. But really, you'll kind of see that it's incorporating some of the existing processes, like the proposal one, and also the new one that TD put together for the DD. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say on that, to be honest. So yeah, keep an eye out for it. Have a little review. Go down the rabbit hole of all the different documents and see what they're doing. But ultimately in there right now is some of the token dispersions that we've done for the node rewards, essentially. So you can see some of the live ones as they are. But it'd be great to get this in place so we can start documenting properly when it comes to some of the proposal ones. So even actually these 10 testnet tokens to Examian, we should probably start following this process already. But yeah, that's all I got to say on that, guys. So thanks for your time. And I think what's up next, Shanti? Is it
next? So we have some outstanding bounties, but I also want to leave room for the community council discussion open forum. Is there anything you want to say about the outstanding bounties?
Not particularly. I think just keep an eye out. We're going to try and do a virtual hackathon to try and get some of these outstanding bounties over the line, because as Chris outlined earlier, there is a requirement to progress to the next phase, which is some of the bounties, not all of them being completed. So yeah, there'll be a proposal coming along where you can find out a few more details on that, essentially.
The hackathon, it's going to be me, Jay, and Shelly. That's one team. You guys ready for this? We're gonna rip some stuff out.
I look forward to that. I look forward to that. If anyone wants to join my team, let me know.
Okay, so we did not really have much of a forum last week, so we're gonna have it this week. And Lobo, do you want to? I think the first topic of discussion is yours, so I'll let you.
Yes. So some community member looked at the past proposal of like our rewards, and then looked at it and was like, okay, seems like governors will earn significantly more than node runners. And then I did some quick maths, and it seems like node runners might earn up to 2.2 million testnet tokens, and we have governors who have already over 3 million here, or in theory earned over 3 million tokens. So this feels a bit off, and the important thing is like in the when we talked about the rewards for node runners, it was like anticipated that like 100 would participate. Now we are like 250 at the moment.
We're approaching 400.
Ooh, okay, even more. So the question is like, do we need to reward more node runners? And my idea was like, okay, I think yes, because it shouldn't be like the difference shouldn't be that huge, because it seems like on average a governor could earn up to like 6 million tokens, I think. So the difference is way too high. So an idea would be like just to double node rewards. So like double everything, like do a snapshot, double existing like tokens in, double the node rewards that are coming. So to get them to like approximately like 4.5 million or so. Would love to hear your thoughts.
Andrew?
Yeah, so maybe I'll preface it with this. Chris, do you have a number in mind that you would be like, wow, this is a great number of node operators, a healthy amount for the network?
150.
150. Okay.
So like that. So the my goal at the end, when we originally started this, was that I wanted 150 node runners by the end of testnet. We blew past that. I'm really proud of it, and it's really awesome. So that now the rewards are, cut in thirds. My concern, here's my concerns, Lobo. I think that we actually planned incorrectly, as underestimated the value of the incentives. But at the same time, I don't want to keep revisiting this, because there is a limit to how many nodes that we need. So if all of a sudden we get 1,000, I don't want to come back and say we need to double this again, because the idea is that the incentives should limit the number of new people coming in to actually hit a proper, proper balance. So that's one of the things that I want to say is like, this is like, in my mind, 150 was actually good enough. I'm wrong now, but something to keep in mind.
Yeah, Chris. And so that's kind of where my thinking was coming from, is I think, if we do renegotiate the node rewards, it should only be one additional time, in my opinion. And we should really base it off of, okay, what is the healthy number of nodes that we would need? If it's 150, we base it off that. If people want to continue to join, they're going to have to do that risk first reward. Is it worth me to spin out a node and get less rewards? So
and I think that's the perfect way to think about it. Like, we shouldn't have a unlimited amount of rewards.
Agreed.
Bill and then Zarmin.
Thanks. From my perspective, my goal has always been 500 participation node runners by the end of testnet. I think we're going to get there. Just seeing how easy this crowd's already made it for people to become a node runner. As time goes by, I do think there'll be a stifling of like, I'll never catch the people that have been in there before us. But I do think it's important that this body is always trying to think through, are they properly modulating and stacking what rewards are going to whom for what and for what value? My perspective and just my 2 cents on it is that those that have figured out how to get a node up and running that is truly healthy and have been earning rewards already should get some benefit for that. I also, from personal observation, I think the parties that are on this line and that are on the full testnet council put in far more work and effort than it takes to spin up a node and monitor it from time to time. So I'm okay with it being imbalanced in some regard. But I think the point is well made that it's probably imbalanced right now, and a single adjustment over the course of testnet would make some sense.
Sarmian.
I think I'm just agreeing with you both, but with everybody. But I think that I wanted to say that running a node and doing this, it's not comparable. Like doing this is far more involved than just leaving the node running. There's a cost to that. But I think that if you increase the rewards, like we could double the rewards, now all of a sudden we have more node runners, and like Chris said, we're going to end up with, we're just going to end up with the same rewards with more node runners. And the opposite, I think, could be true. If people find that there is too much of an imbalance, then we lose a few node runners, and I think that's probably a good thing right now because we are top heavy on node runners, obviously. So I just want to say I agree with not changing anything.
The other thing to keep in mind before you go, Cooper, real quick, is that this is also a really good way to distribute the tokens and get the word out. People running nodes means that there are more people that know about Voy. So that we have to put that value out there as well.
I'll speak. So, I mean, to me, just listening, it doesn't sound like anybody's disincentivized from running a node. So why would we be increasing the rewards when people are actively, enthusiastically joining?
So I think I have multiple points. Maybe the first point, the easiest one, is like, okay, we have like no node runners who run nodes. And if we like stay at this number, like, what if nobody joins? Like nobody hears about Voice and gets excited and wants to run a node because like they already hear from other community members, yeah, it's not worth it anymore. That would be kind of bad. So I think we should increase them to get also the possibility so more people want to join. And the second thing is like, we can argue that being part of this committee is a lot of work. But in my opinion, it's not about being fair here. So it's about valuing the community a lot. So they should come first. And of course, we can say like we have to do a lot more work and maybe our work is 3 times more valuable. But in the end, what we need is like a good community to start Voy. And in the end, also, we are all replaceable, in my opinion. So, and the community is the more important part.
Chris started this telling us that we are the community, Lobo. We are the people. We own the thing. So, I mean, I would just say this, and I don't really care either way. But if I'm hearing right now that we have 3x the amount of node runners that was even dreamt of, then it seems like the system's working. And if it stopped working and it seemed to be and we're seeing all the node runners falling off, then it would be like, okay, let's increase this because we now need to incentivize it because there's a problem. But that there's no problem. It sounds like we're just trying to fix something that isn't broken.
Maybe to add a point again, like, of course, we say we are also the community, and that's right, but we were also chosen by the foundation. And this point is kind of important, in my opinion. It's not like everyone has, at the moment, the option to become a part of the committee. So at the moment, you could argue we are like something like insiders, and that's nothing that we wanted. So I think it's about, again, like valuing the community more.
And I mean, and I don't understand the technical stuff, but doesn't more nodes actually put more stress on the relay node operators and shouldn't? No, it doesn't.
It does, but the relay node operators are supposed to be compensated for that.
Yeah, but
so
I'm
yeah,
just
so like
saying, yeah,
it does.
okay, yeah.
Benny.
Yeah, cheers. No, I was just gonna say, yeah, I think I'd be in favor of a increase, just merely due to the fact that there is a slight imbalance, and I don't think that any increase would skew the rewards that everyone in this room is getting anyway. And I think at the end of the day, very much what was on my mind, which was kind of what Chris was saying earlier, was, you know, the more node runners that we can attract, the more people in the community that we're going to have when we hit mainnet.
Anyone else? Oh, wait, Andrew and Bill.
Bill, if you want to go first, I think you had your hand up first. I don't want to jump in front of you.
Quick, just thanks, Andrew. The only thing that I would put out there, and it's been touched on lightly, is that to score really well and earn on the block reward side for production, you're incentivized to buy a healthy cloud server that has great latency score, uptime, etc. So there is a hard cost associated with it to score well, and they're incentivized for doing so because they win on the block production. There's also incentive for being early because you're stacking more void before others that got there, and you have a higher likelihood of being selected for block production. So it may be modulated perfectly right now, but as I said earlier, I think it's for this body to understand if it's balanced right or not. But I think it just is important to keep in mind that there are people spending real money to try to win the block rewards. So that is part of the calculus.
Andrew.
Oh, go for it, Chris.
Right. I was gonna say, I get Coop's point, and I love that. That's the way of questioning things. I think that's great. But people are starting to talk. So like that is the issue. It's like nobody was talking before this, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, wait a second. And now we're just early. And my worry is if we wait too long, now we're like, okay, now we gotta climb a hill.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll still kind of reiterate what I said, I guess, prior. I just haven't seen the saturation in nodes yet with the current reward. So kind of like Coop said, it's not, I don't think we've hit a level yet where people are, not interested, or even worse, leaving being a node operator. I'm in favor of re-looking at it. I just think that if we were to do it like this week, it's a little bit too early. I think with the testnet period, we should really let it be the testnet period. And I know everyone wants to maximize the rewards, but I think that unless we see like a huge, like I said, like disinterest in it, I think we should continue to run it until towards the end, and then look how many nodes we got, look at what the interest was, and then try to look forward for mainnet and say, okay, this is the reward structure we want to do. We want to target to have 1,200 nodes online at all times. This is what would work well, at least in terms of the missions. And then, obviously if people find it still valuable to go above that 1,200 nodes, you'll have that fluctuation come, but you'll find a medium. And I just think it's just a little bit too early to really determine that, because if we do it now, I guarantee you we'll be having this conversation again in another month or two. So
I want to caution us about being in our ivory tower, looking at all of the other people out there. This is an opportune time to actually talk to the community to find out what their thoughts are. Like if you're not running a node, I think you don't have the experience of running a node. So you should probably, I would say that before you develop a strong opinion on this, understanding what's going on in the actual out in the community, I think is super important.
Okay. Well, that is like perfect timing. Thank you, everyone. One of the things that we did want to discuss that we didn't get to is Benny's hackathon idea. So we can probably just move that to Discord. We'd love to get your thoughts on a 2 to 3 day virtual hackathon with the primary goal of completing a lot of the pressing bounties that are on the bounty board and will help us move through the 3 phases of testnet.
I can have a closing statement. Thank you, guys. This was actually an amazing meeting. One of the things I do want to point out that I saw was really special, and I urge you guys hard to keep pushing forward is the culture of open source. There are other chains out there that do not have this culture, and it's getting a little bit toxic. Open source is amazing, and it helps push the advancement of a chain. And both projects so far that we talked about today were 100% open source, not just the smart contract, 100% open source. And this is very valuable. We need to establish this culture early, because if you wait too long, the culture then becomes like, why do I want to show it? Like it's the wrong mindset. And it's super important that we keep pushing open source, especially early. But thank you guys so much. Every single time we have one of these meetings, it makes me feel good. So thank you for all of this, and thank you for all of your hard work. And until next time.
Yes. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Everybody join my Twitter space. It's right now. Yay, do it.
Go. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.